John Tavares hits the 1,000 point mark. Samsonov and Jones stand tall as Jake McCabe continues to crush his opponents. Hey everyone, welcome to Inside the Leafs. Rob Wong, joined alongside by Toronto Sun Maple Leafs writers Lance Hornby and Terry Koshan. And guys, what a moment on Monday. John Tavares picking up career points number 999 and 1,000 against his former team on Long Island. Lance, he may not have the flash that some of his teammates or others around the league have, but John Tavares is as consistent as they come. Is he still someone that is a little bit underappreciated around the NHL, you think?
Yeah, a couple of guys use the term Mr. Consistent for Tavares. Both in the last little while and in reaching 1,000 games, so really over the summer. I mean, he's there all the time at the training facility. He has a couple of the kids on the team stay with him, so he has that dedication to physical fitness, and certainly going back a lot further. Everyone was critical of the long-term deal at the time, and yes, it's handicapped the Leafs in many ways. But you look at the kind of numbers he's put together and the effort he's still giving out now in his early 30s. That's quite remarkable, and good on him for reaching 1,000. That's a goal he really wanted to do, and of course now the big thing for him is a better playoff run and perhaps a Stanley Cup at some point.
Yeah, I don't think he's underappreciated, Rob, at all. Certainly not in the Leafs dressing room or across the league. I remember when there was one game last year that Pittsburgh was in town and talked to Sidney Crosby after the morning skate about Tavares and the impact he has, the work ethic and everything. And Crosby is well known for his, and he was lauding Tavares that day, just everything he knows that John puts into the game behind the scenes to be a good hockey player night in night out. And when that when the person who's known for that in the National Hockey League is giving you kudos, you know you're doing good things and you are appreciated across the league. And he like Lance alluded to, the contract, it's not great, and we look at it that way because the Leafs haven't won with Tavares here, of course. But the fact of the matter is, I think Sheldon Keefe put it good the other night. There's still something happening here with Tavares. He's not at the end of the rope by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, we look down to a place like Washington where Alex Ovechkin is struggling, and now there are questions as to whether he actually will break Wayne Gretzky's goal record. Well, you're not getting the same questions about Tavares here in Toronto, and I thought it was great the other night. We like to say great theater in hockey. There was no better place for him to get 1,000 points than on Long Island, in front of his dad, and the situation to tying the game late in the game like he did. But no, I think there's a lot of respect for John Tavares right across the league.
Meanwhile, with Joseph Wall out, Ilya Samsonov and Martin Jones combined to help the Leafs get a 5 of a possible 6 points in their last 3 games, Terry. Obviously not the tandem that a lot of people expected the Leafs would have to start the season or at any point this year, I guess, barring some injuries, and that's where we are. But how much confidence do you have in these two veteran netminders for as long as Wall is out?
Well, we'll have to see. I mean, you go on a game by game basis. This is why they signed Martin Jones. Whether I have confidence in it or not, they just got to go play. And there's no choice for the Maple Leafs here, right? So Samsonov is coming off, the season that he had. There have been some struggles. He's looking to still get his game back into good form. And, Martin Jones, I thought last night wasn't overly busy. Certainly not nearly going. I think the Rangers had 8 shots on goal in the first half of the game, but was really excellent throughout. There was that save on Zibanejad, I think. It was like the poke check paddle save that he made when it was 2-1 Leafs. If, Zibanejad comes in and scores on that, you got a 2-2 hockey game, and we're wondering what the outcome, how much different it would be. So that veteran presence is good. It's the Leafs breathed a sigh of relief for a reason when he got through waivers at the end of camp in October and was not picked up. But, I think for right now, Sheldon Keefe and the staff have to go night to night, decide who you're going to start. Obviously, with Joe Wall, we had seen a guy who'd taken over as the number one guy. I don't necessarily think the Leafs have that right now, but it's on each of these guys, of course, to perform to the best of their ability here.
I'm sort of impressed, I think, at the way that a lot of people had the bags packed for Samsonov to get out of town, and he, I think, responded well. I mean, certainly he didn't play well early in the year. He had his challenges, and I think kind of the nagging little injuries and his durability that have always sort of dogged him have had arisen early on. And he looked lost out there. He swims a lot, and he certainly looks different compared to Joseph Wall, who's so strong in there and so athletic, and can move side to side a little stronger. That said, I think Samsonov didn't forget how to play goal overnight. Had a great game, great shutout a couple of nights ago, and now with Jones. And a lot of people thought, a lot of people who thought that maybe Wall wasn't ready either, were thinking Jones was going to be, as Terry alluded to, a great pickup, somebody that can get him through waivers, might turn out to be the starter at some point of the season. All three of them, I think, have been up and down, but seeing Jones make a start, complete the game, as Terry said, have a couple of key saves, really important for the Leafs. He looked like a veteran, and Sheldon Keefe alluded to a couple of times last night, saying that's the beauty of having an NHL goalie, meaning he and the club haven't had to struggle through with guys they were unfamiliar with that they brought in, or farm guys who weren't ready. So good sign for the Leafs that they have two to hold the fort until Wall returns.
Lastly, Jake McCabe has been throwing some thunderous hits so far this season, guys, especially of late, including the body check on New York's Ryan Lindgren on Tuesday night. Lance, when you look at some of the biggest hitters in Leafs history, who comes to mind?
Well, certainly for my generation, Brian Glennie was a force there. I remember Mike Pellick saying he was his defensive partner, and Pellick used to angle guys towards the middle, so where Glennie could take them out. But there's a lot of hitters in the league. There's we think of Wendell Clark taking guys out. Maybe those plays would be slightly illegal in this day and age. And but you had solid hitters like Dmitry Yaskevich and guys like that. And maybe McCabe reminds me a bit of Dmitry Yaskevich overall. But having him in there last night, Sheldon Keefe, an interesting comment saying that the Leafs play a less chaotic game when McCabe is in there, and he's played with different partners. Maybe now we're seeing what he could do. There were some issues early in the year. I think he's come around though.
Yeah, I think McCabe still has a little bit ways to go here, but the hits are good. And as far as the hardest hitters, I mean, really it starts and ends with the guy in our generation, Wendell Clark. I mean, it's just Bob Bond and Tim Horton had their way back in the day as well, but you go to YouTube now, and of course you can call up any hits that Wendell Clark made, and certainly compilations of them. And I wouldn't leave Dion Phaneuf out of the mix either. More recently, the Leafs didn't win with him as captain, of course, but every so often Dion would get a hold of a guy and it would be over. And then Jake Muzzin a little more recently as well. But that's what the Leafs need on the back end. They need more of that type of play, and McCabe can pick his spots and make a hit like that every so often. Good for him, and you just wish that, or at least I do, that he doesn't have to drop his gloves every time he makes a hit like that. It's one of the sillier unwritten rules in the NHL that you hit a guy, you should be expected to fight. It's kind of dumb, but anyway, good on McCabe for knowing when to throw the body like that, like he did last night.
Well, we know GM Brad Treliving loves his physicality, especially in the back end. We'll see if he adds to it at any point this season. As always, leave your thoughts in the comments section below. For Lance Hornby and Terry Koshan, I'm Rob Wong. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next time.